Hi there, this is Attic Vision, and I'm Medusa. Today, we're going to be talking about Blue Sunshine, both the movie and the book. Blue Sunshine is a 1977 horror flick written and directed by Jeff Lieberman. This is a Vestron video release. Lieberman also wrote and directed a couple of my favorite movies of all time, Squirm in 1976, and then Just Before Dawn in 1981. He also did an extremely underrated flick called Remote Control in 1988, as well as a more recent film called Satan's Little Helper in 2004. Even though Lieberman only did a handful of movies, they're all pretty rad and worth checking out, tracking down if you have to. The novel Blue Sunshine is written by Ken Johnson. It was published in 1978 by Dale Books. It is based on the screenplay, so it follows the movie pretty closely with a few minor differences. There's of course a lot more insight into the characters and their actions and what they're feeling when things are going on. It's very well written. I hadn't watched the movie in a few years prior to doing so for the show, so I read the book and then I rewatched the movie, which I recommend if you've seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie at all and you're interested in both reading and watching Blue Sunshine. I definitely recommend tracking down the book and reading it before you watch or rewatch the movie. It adds more layers to the movie and it makes it even more trippy than it already is. So the leading man, Jerry Zipkin, is played by Zalman King. He also appears in Galaxy of Terror from 1981. Galaxy of Terror is a pretty easy movie to find. I definitely recommend seeking it out if you've never seen it. I happen to like it quite a bit. King did most of his acting pre-80s, and then it seems like he switched to more behind-the-camera work, directing and producing. I really loved him in this role. I thought he fit into the movie Blue Sunshine so perfectly. His character is really off the rails and kind of strange. Zipkin's girl Alicia is played by an actress named Deborah Winters. She also appears in a movie called The Outing from 1987 that's loads of fun that I definitely recommend checking out as well. So let's talk about Blue Sunshine. Blue Sunshine is a total trip. The film starts out introducing a few characters and small groups of people. We later see that they all converge, they're all affected in some way. The kicking off point of the movie is a party where Zipkin, Alicia, and a few of their friends have gathered to have a 70s good time. When in the midst of a musical number, their friend Franny has his hairpiece pulled off. He runs out of the cabin frantically, and the party splits off. One group goes to town, Zipkin goes looking for Franny, and a few of the girls stay back at the cabin. After the party splits, Franny returns to kill the 3 girls in the cabin. The scene is totally brutal. The description of the scene in the book is amazing. This is really the point of this movie that you're like, what is going on? I absolutely love this part. When Zipkin returns to the cabin, he sees Franny. The girls have been killed. He goes chasing after them and he's forced to kill him. There's a bit of confusion and somehow everyone thinks that Zipkin is at fault for the murders. So of course he goes off to try to clear his name and figure out what happened to Franny and what's going on. Zipkin sees a news story about another guy who went bald and crazy and killed his family. He puts together some pieces and figures out that there's a strain of LSD called Blue Sunshine affecting all of these kids that went to Stanford University 10 years ago. The LSD was sold by now politician Ed Fleming. So this bad acid that was floating around Stanford University is deteriorating people's brains or something and making them now 10 years later go completely bald, go completely insane, and have a serious migraine. So this scene is the cover of the book, and it's one of the most recognizable parts of the movie. That was a character, Wendy, played by actress Ann Cooper. She's the ex-wife of the politician Ed Fleming. So after connecting some dots and chasing some things down, we get to the climax of the movie. Zipkin, the detective who's chasing him, Alicia, the politician Ed, as well as his crazy bodyguard, are all in one place at one time, which just so happens to be a mall that holds political rallies, has a puppet show, and also contains a disco. As you can see, craziness ensues. The end is amazing. Any description of this movie or this book is just not good enough. You have to see it. You have to read it. Blue Sunshine is an easy watch. It's an easy read, and I definitely recommend both. The movie does have its flaws, like the strange junkie in the park scene that's described in depth in the book, quite beautifully. But overall, it's pretty well put together. There's a bit extra tacked on at the end of the novel that I actually liked quite a bit. I understand why they couldn't wrap things up the same way in the movie, so they just wrote some text on the screen at the end. There's an epilogue in the book that kind of sets things up. I wish there would have been a sequel. I know you're like, how could there be a sequel to this movie? But there could have been. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments. My Instagram is linked in the show notes, so give me a follow. You've just watched Attic Vision. I'm Medusa.